Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Now Experts Time channel. We are watching and we are discussing software asset management solution from ServiceNow. In the last 7 videos we discussed about software asset management solution, how it is working in the outer box area, what are all the configurations we should focus in the customer business environment, what is procurement, what is compliant and non-compliant, what is financial terminology. So those type of topics we discussed. If you want to understand those informations, please refer those videos. It will help. So today we are going to discuss about the procurement proactive scenario. Last session we discussed about reactive scenario. Please refer that video to understand the reactive scenario as well. So today, the proactive scenario, how we are going to apply in our ServiceNow instance, that point we are going to discuss. And next thing is, what is a prerequisite to read the procurement before implement? That is called the stock room. That stock room also we discussed in a separate video. Please check in our channel, you get some clarity. We can go to the topic and discuss that proactive scenario. So when we talk about the proactive scenario, there are two items are required. One is a stock room and another one is a stock rule. So stock room point of view, what are all the stock room? It is required in a different geographic location. Based on the business, we can define it. You can classify it based on the business unit, cost center, company, etc. So once it is defined, then we need to configure that stock rule. What is a rule? What is a usage of the stock rulers? It's pretty simple. This stock rule, it is helping to define some threshold value, some limit. This limit is applicable for particular stock room and particular software model. For any reason this limit is crossed, immediately the notification will trigger to the stock room manager. Based on that, stockroom manager or SAM manager will take appropriate action. This is a syntax for your proactive procurement. Now we go to that instance and we will discuss those points here. Go to your left navigation pane. Under inventory, there is an option called stock rule. You type stock rule in this filter. Just click it. It will route it to this stock rule configuration page. Here you are going to configure your stock rule. So the stock rule you can define based on your software model. This stock rule you can define based on your stock room. So model and stock room, it is a pretty much important part. So we should be very careful here. I take one sample item in this proactive procurement. So I have configured some information in this stock room. This is a software model, and this software model is relating with this stock room. So when this software model is reached 5, less than or equal to 5, then immediately notification will trigger. So if you talk Microsoft, it's a global publisher, everyone they can use it. So you take that Microsoft item as an example. Here you select it, Microsoft related item here. So what are all the models are associated with this Microsoft, you just select it. Or if you have some other options like Adobe or Citrix, so those items also you can select it from here. So once you select it, then you need to select that appropriate stock room, this software model associated with it. So these two it is selected and you defined that threshold value, then good. So next, If this threshold value is reached, what is a next course of action system needs to do? That instruction we need to define in this two field. One is restocking option. That restocking option is directly triggering to the vendor, or you are taking a loan from one stock room to another stock room. There are two use cases are associated in this restocking. So when we talk this proactive procurement, then you should select as a vendor. In case you want to borrow the asserts or CI from one stock room to another stock room, you select this stock room. So when you select this stock room, then parent stock room it will display. So from this parent stock room, this is a source and this is a target. That assert will transfer from this parent stock room to this child stock room. This is pretty straightforward. But if you go to the vendor, this is little different. So when we talk about the vendor, so that time you need to raise a request to enable the procurement with that publisher. So how to raise the request is a different story. Before raising this request, system should tell to some persona like stockroom manager or SAM manager, so that they can understand and they will raise a request into the appropriate publisher. So currently this vendor, what it will do is, if you select this vendor, it will send a notification. I'll show you where that notification is available. So before going to that notification, first we will discuss this order size. So once the vendor is selected, how much order, how much count I need to place with the vendor or publisher? Is it 10 or 5 or 2 or 100 or 50? That count you can define it. So these five major pieces are important. First three, it is representing your existing info. This is a software model. This software model needs to come with this stock room, and any reason this software model count, for example, if it is 100 is there, when the 100 is assigned, you have only the 95. The 95 moving to the 96, that means it reaching the threshold value. Then immediately it will send a notification to this vendor, and vendor understand that item, and vendor will raise a request manually with the count and software model. The count is 10 you defined, and the software model name is this. So I believe this narrative it helps to understand. And the next thing is, if any asserts already available in this stock room, those asserts will be listed here. So if you go to the ALM underscore license table and you configure that stock room detail in the table, those asserts will be defined or displayed here. Yeah. So similar way, you can apply it for an existing one or existing assert or a new assert, whatever it is, you just do it. Stockroom is a pretty much important role playing in this procurement, specifically proactive procurement scenario. Okay, so I highlighted this restocking option. If I select a vendor, then what it will do, it will send a notification. So we go to the notification, we'll try to understand that item. So before that, refer this threshold value field. The same threshold value field information will be called in your notification. So if I go to the notifications, yeah, I'll just open it. In the name, you type restock, star restock, hit enter. You can see the notification template called assert restocking. So this assert restocking template, it is supporting to send an email to your stockroom manager or appropriate group. So currently this out of box item, it is configured for the stockroom manager as a recipient. In your business environment, if you want to add additional groups or additional personas, then you can add it, who will receive tab. You can see this is a stockroom manager will receive a notification when to send. The trigger condition, it is defined via events and notifications mapping, that is already handled via out of box scenario, so don't worry about the trigger condition. Sorry, trigger condition will be handled as per out of box. Now you should go to the email template. In this email template, just give me a minute. Yeah, I changed that application view. So in this email template, this is a message it is representing. I understand each and every customer, they have a separate notification template, they have some logos, they have some banner image, they have some template. So based on customer info, you can slightly modify this body of your email and message or subject of your email also. So if I click this preview notification, then you can understand that message. I have selected some sample dummy one preview record. So if you select the relevant software model, then it will display that information. You can see so that it is above threshold message. So this message, it is clearly representing that information. This is a software model. This software model is mapped with this stock room. It is reached this type of threshold value, etc. It is displaying here. So this notification is a trigger point to our stockroom manager or a SAM manager to initiate the request. That means 100 license are there, 95 consumed. You defined the threshold value as 5. When the 96th license is consumed by the user, so that time immediately notification will be triggered to your stockroom manager and the SAM manager to alert you have very limited count in your license, please initiate or take appropriate action. That message should happen. So I believe this message, it clearly explains the proactive procurement scenario. So I can show like a proactive procurement where it will be triggered. So I take one sample item. I take one sample item in this proactive procurement. I just go to the tasks. So specifically, I will take a procurement portion. I take one item, that is the second item. Here you can see the source request. So these items we already discussed. What is the source request? How we can initiate? So these items we already discussed in part 7 video. Please refer that item. Refer that video. It will give you more clarity. I'll click the source request. So here you can see the available rights and vendor purchase. If I click a vendor purchase, then it is a reactive. When the allocation, assume it, there are 10 rights are there, not 10, almost 100 license are there. Out of 100, 95 is used. We have only 5 rights. Assume it, instead of 1 we have a 5 rights. If I allocate this rights, then 5 minus 1, it is 4. So when that 4 it is reached, we already configured the stock rule. I have showcased that earlier item 5 value we have defined as a threshold. Then immediately it will send a notification to our stock room manager. When I click this allocate and assign this information and click the submit, then immediately this license will be assigned to the appropriate user. Then notification also will trigger to the stock room manager and give an alert message, you have an insufficient count, immediately look on it. So this is a way this proactive procurement is going to work. I hope it makes sense. In nutshell, I just give you the clarity in the proactive procurement. Number one, we need a stock room. Number two, we need to define the stock rule. Number three, once the stock rule is defined, the notification needs to trigger based on the threshold value. When the notification is going to trigger, so that time you need to uh, define that recipient, stockroom manager, sam manager, or based on your business requirement you need to define it. And fourth one is you need to change the template in the notification based on your business requirement. Everything it is ready by default out of box workflow. when your when your request is having that source request button, when you click that source request from the procurement team and assigning the rights, based on that it will do that subtraction with your original license count. By default, when it is reaching the threshold value, immediately the notification will send it to that appropriate personas. So I hope this session helps you to understand about proactive procurement. So wait for few more software asset management videos. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you. Goodbye and good day.